Hey YouTube, so we're back at the mill. Nice sunny but cloudy day in Pennsylvania. It feels kind of warm, but the snow is melting very slowly. Anyway, we got a nasty looking log on here. A couple of the commenters think we can't get nothing out of this. I think their comments may be a little bit hasty or premature because of the size of this log. This is a 12-footer, but when I say the size, I'm talking about the diameter. The diameter here on the small end is 14 by 15, okay? It's a little bit oblong, you can see it there. It's off the bunk at this end, so 2-3 inches, and it has a heck of a growth on here. But here's the thing, when you look at geometric shapes, you want to try and look for the common shape that runs through there. And if you look at this, let's say from this angle, you can see that this 14-inch diameter sort of runs all the way through down to the end, and it looks like the bottom of the log might be fairly straight. Okay, now it's not perfectly straight, we know that, because there's a little hook down at the bottom there, but it's off the bunk here an inch, touching off, so it's not perfectly straight, and it does have a lot of knots in it. So I'm expecting, the nice thing about these knots is that they're red knots. Now that means that I'm probably going to have a bunch of spike knots or whatever in the wood, and we'll check that as we go. But what we want to do right at the moment here, and we're going to work on two things today. One, we're going to be checking blades, and two, we want to see if we can get this log to roll to a point where we can actually work with it. So I'm going to work on putting the pith, the center of the tree, as close to being even with each end as I can, and then we're going to do some other things with this and see how it works out. Okay, so if you'll see, now I turned this log and it's touching the bunk except for right there, okay, on this one, it's touching the bunk all the way down there, okay? So that's looking pretty good as far as straight goes. However, if you look this direction, we're anything but straight. We've got it's touching at this end, and it's touching at the other end up there, but we've got 4 inches almost here, 3.5 inches of log that's bent away from the dogs. Now, we know that if we turn it that direction, okay, the top over that way, we know that that there's too big of a bend in it. Now, I don't know if I can turn it this way a little bit more to try and get this log a little bit straighter. I might be able to. Let me set you down here and you can watch this, and we'll see where a good spot is to keep this log. So we know it's pretty straight on the bunk side. That doesn't seem to matter at the moment because we need to be able to cut straight boards. Obviously that fat side there is screwing us up something fierce. Let's see if I can turn it beyond that. Oh, there. Okay, now that's touching all the way down, touching, and the good thing, well, I don't know, it's touching here and all these stops, but here it's about 4 inches away at this end. Now what this means is we could cut this tree off, this log. We could probably cut this log at 10 feet and end up with a more square cant than what we're going to get out of this 12 feet. But I want to see if I can get that whole 12 foot. Because what I'm after is I want to see if I can cut siding out of this. I'm hopeful. I have no idea what the inside of the log's going to look like yet until I get there. That log does have quite a bit of a bend in it. Now maybe what I could do is I could push this over a little bit like this and get like a happy medium between both ends. Now we're against in the middle, but we're on that big lump there. And I got about 4 inches at that end and maybe 2 here, so if I can get that over this way a little bit. I'm happy with the fact that the bottom of the log is hitting the bunk all the way down. Okay? I got 4 inches there. That's about even both ends. So I'm going to snug up. Well, I better wait on the dogs here. I need to check the pith again. Alright, so we got the log touching, basically touching all of the bunks. In the middle it's not touching, but we know that that big fat spot is wide. So we're going to imagine that that's not there. So, okay, we've got that so far. Let me check this bunk, or the pith here. Alright, this way I have 25 inches. Let me make sure I get... I'm measuring off my concrete floor here. I've got 25.5 inches there. And at this end, I've got 28 inches. So that means that 25.5, 28, that's 2.5 inches, right? 25.5, 26.5, 27.5, 28. Yeah, so it's 2.5 inches. We need to come up probably about 1.5 inches to get us leveled up. So let me get a board. So here's 1.5 inches. I gotta watch how wide this is. That's too wide. This is 1.5 inches. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, so I'm gonna put this underneath here, and that'll raise this up so the pith is in the center of the log. Okay, now I'll check that again. Somewhere around 29.5 there. Raise that up for some reason. 28 here. Let me just check this. 29.5 there. Now, because that flares out at that end, and so does this, I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to move that anymore except to bring it and dog it against these two dogs here. Now what I have is the bend in the log is actually facing you, the high spot, facing the camera wig. So we're leaning against this dog more than we are anything else. Also, if you notice, guys, none of these logs have been drugged around. I picked these logs up with the backhoe, so there's really no stones to be worrying about. Maybe where the log got ground into the when the tree initially fell, but nothing I'm really worried about here. So here's the next thing we're going to do. We're going to take, and we have the blade tightened on here. And I want to check this blade to see. This blade was a new blade that I had not sharpened, but I've used it. Okay? What I'm after here is I want to see if this blade has a concave shape to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a razor and a flashlight to check it and see what's happening. Now, in order to check this, you want to put this where the gullet is. Now, if I look through here, this blade is shaped like my fingers are, okay? This way at the moment. Now, I want to see if that can be changed by taking the blade off, putting it on the sawmill in reverse, run it around a couple of times. Now that's, I don't mean with the teeth facing in, I mean twist the blade so that the teeth are facing out but facing that way. Run it around the saw wheel a couple of times under tension and see if it'll bring that out of there. That's what I want to see. Let me check it down here. Yeah, it's crowned up. Now, if this is crowned up in the middle, think about it. That means the teeth should be aiming down. But because it's under tension, these guide wheels are going to keep this thing, once it starts to push and cut, it's going to keep this thing at an even cut. So I predict that we're not going to have that low cut and then come to a high level and stay cutting. So let me just see if that holds up to be true. Okay, so we're going to make our first cut. Inside the log all the way down. Okay, so I predicted that the log blade would not ride up. So I want you to see this. So if you look at that, you can see that the end of the blade is touching. Now I went over a knot there, there's knots all over the place, and you can see some light here and there, but the cut is basically pretty straight. Okay, it's within a 1/16 all the way along there. So that's not a bad cut. That's not a bad cut. And we're pretty wide here. With a 14-inch cant, or I mean a 14-inch log, let me check the cant size. We should be able to get a 9-inch cant out of this. So let's see if we have wood 9 inches wide. We have 10. We have plenty of wood here. 10, 9. Yeah, we're plenty wide enough except for at the very end here. But we got the 9 inches we're looking for. So we're not going to cut any more off of this side. What we're going to do is we're going to roll this log. We're going to roll it and let me just back up here. We're going to roll this log now, and we're going to roll it this way. That log is going to come this direction, so that or maybe I should lay that flat. I think I'm going to lay that log flat. In other words, instead of putting this on the dogs, because of this big lump, if I roll this way, that thing's going to be sticking up in the air. I'm going to roll it this direction and get this to lay on the bunk. And then when I do that, I can take my block out that's in there. I'm leaving the dogs up over here. I'm loosening them, but I'm leaving them up because I don't want this log to roll off the back of the sawmill on me. Okay, so we're laying flat there now. I'm going to put this dog down because the other three look like they're going to hold it pretty good. Phew. That's really crooked in there. Maybe I'll put this one back up. I'm putting this back up because I'm not hitting either one of these two, and if I try to hit them, I'm going to be in the way of the frame of the sawmill. The carriage won't be able to move. Alright, so we're going to dog that. And then we'll make another cut. dead end for the top of the log. Here we're down to 12, so we're going to have to take 11 inch off the bunk cut to be able to have wood all the way down. We're going to get rid of that outer growth that's over there. I said we're looking for a 9-inch cant, so we're still gonna get that because we have the bottom laying flat on the bunk, and the bed is, or the head is set at 11 inches off the bunk. Hardly putting any pressure on the crank. It's going through it pretty nice. Pick it up. Okay. Okay, now if you look at the cut there, let me bring you in a little closer. If you look at the cut is fairly straight within a 16th, and I did rise up a little bit after coming into this cut here. Not much, not enough to make me want to change the blade. The rest of the log is fairly straight as well. Now the one problem that I have with this, which may offset the size of the cant, is this middle here. I mean, you're seeing a massive pieces of wood, but over here I only have 5 inches. To get to a 9-inch cant here, I'm probably going to have to go down another inch. Now the good part about that is if I look across here, I'm at 11 inches. I still have room to go down to my 9-inch cant. Okay? So I can take another inch off of this and still be at 10 inches, and then we'll see what we have here for the width. Now these boards that are coming off of here, like this one here, it's a small board. Let me sweep it up. I'll show you how it looks. To like pine. When I was a builder and we offered kitchen cabinets to people, we used to tell them that if you choose pine, you have to realize that pine has knots, it splits, and it has checks. So if you can't deal with that in your kitchen, then don't buy it, fine. But look at that beautiful grain in there. This would be a beautiful spike knot. Obviously it's a red knot, it's going to be strong, it's not going to have an issue. All red knots. You got a less than a 3/4 inch black knot there. This is actually pretty nice wood here yet. Very nice. Okay, so So let me cut down another inch. Here's one black knot up here that would probably be loose in the board. So I'm going to go down 1 more inch and see if I can't widen this out right here where I need a wider board to be able to make a cant. I'm after the cant, guys, because I want to be able to cut siding out of this if it's possible. Just move you back there so you can see the whole show here. That'll do it. So I'm going down to 10 inches off the bump. But I'm not into that live edge stuff. But this is definitely something I want to hang on to. Let me put it on the carriage. To our 9-inch wide cant. So we don't want to go in, we could go a little further this way. This height is still 10 inches, okay? So I could go down and have a cut, but I don't want to go too far and end up in trouble scratching for trying to find wood. So I'm going to turn this now. I'm going to turn it this way because I got a lot straighter bottom than I do the top with that hook at the top there. Let me just show you up close what I'm talking here about. I'm going to turn this lug, I'm going to rotate the top towards me, or dog this side against the stops, because the bottom here is a lot less trouble than what that top is with that big knot sticking out there, okay? So I'm going to turn that, putting you back on the stand. Guys, before I turn this, I just want to show you at the widest part of this, look how nice and flat that is. Okay, there's no rocking in there, nice flat cut. So this blade is doing good. And for those of you who are commenting saying that I should adjust the saw and stuff, the saw is not the problem. If the saw was the problem, the blade would not cut properly when it's new. I believe that all of my problems are in the blade. Now I have measured the set of my blades that I sharpen, and I have, you know, I can measure to the nearest thousandth. And I have also measured the loss of tooth and stuff. And I'm still not convinced of where I need to make a change. So there's obviously something going on with the blade, and I think it has to do with the tension and the concaveness of the blade. But that's enough for that right now. I'm gonna roll with. Now guys, I don't mind telling you that was really hard to turn over by hand with a cant hook. I had to throw a couple of boards underneath it to hold it as I let it turn. The point here is that if the center of the log was like an axle, this would be like an offset cant counterweight or cant effect. So you're trying to pick up that extra weight that is not on this side of that straight line running through the log. That's why it's heavier and harder to roll. So when you roll these, instead of getting over in the middle and rolling it, you want to try to roll it from either end. It's a little bit easier that way. Not a lot easier, but a little bit easier. I think I need to lift it up at one end, but we'll check it. I'm going to see where the pith is here. .28.5 there. So we do have a center line there going through the center of this thing. I'm not sure what we're going to end up with over here. But basically the center of this tree is down in here. So we want to be careful how we cut this. We want to just cut enough of this switch off in here so that we have wood, or we're going to end up without an 8-inch cant. Now I don't mind if the cant's 8-inch one way and not the other, but I need an 8-inch cant one way. That's obvious. Tighten the log up a little bit. Nice and straight with that stack top. Wow, this thing is sticky as well. I am getting a buildup of stuff on the blade, so I'm going to have to keep watch on this since I don't have any water in it because it's still semi-freezing out here. This end is the lowest point of the whole log, so we're just going to get down to where the bottom of the bark is. Now guys, with a cut like this is where you want to, I believe anyway, that you should negate worrying about the pith. That end should have been raised up a little. I would still have a lot more wood on here, I believe. But let's see here. All right, we still, if we can get this next cut down to this bark, we've still got an 8-inch by 8-inch cant there. That would be beautiful, okay? With considering how bent that log is. I mean, it's pretty obvious. We're off the bump there 2 inches in the middle, right in here. So, there's actually, if I cut this off, there's actually some nice boards left in there. I'm going to have to play with this thing a little bit just to make sure of that I've gotten everything out of it that I can get. And I'll tell you what, people say that in the winter the sap's not running as much. That may be true in a maple tree, but this thing here has got as much sap on it as it did in the summertime when I cut them. Nice. Man, am I glad this isn't red oak. Yoy, I'd never be able to move that. Keep in mind that red oak is twice the weight of white pine. Whew. Okay, so let me show you that. These are nice looking boards. Here, this log inside. I had gotten a compliment where somebody, or comment where somebody thought that we were going to only be able to get an 8x8 out of this, and I'm telling you that, okay, we have one black knot there. One, boy oh boy, that's not even a block. Yeah, I guess in the middle there it might be. But the rest of them, nice red knots all the way through this one. No spike knots on this at all. Nice. Very nice. This white pine is something. I really like white pine. Alright, so let's get the rule out and see how the cut is. Right again. Beautiful. Beautiful straight cut. Very nice. Let's check it this way. Nice cut. Okay, so we've got nothing to worry about there. All we got to do is keep thinking about wood. We want wood. We got to watch how we make the cut. At this point now, I would think that the best thing to do would be to turn the top, put the top down on the bottom now, put the top on the bunk, and cut off the minimum wood we need to get a square cant. Yeah, this is working out nice. Very nice. Okay guys, so what we're after here is that initially a 14-inch diameter cant would give us a 9-inch, a 14-inch diameter log should give us a 9-inch cant. And if you look here, this is 9 inches right here, so we have more than enough wood to work with there. However, on this side here, we're a little bit lower. 9 inches will give me just a touch of wane on the edge of the board. But you know what? If I'm cutting siding and it ends up with the narrow bevel with the wane on, that's going to be hidden underneath siding. You're not going to see that. So we can use that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut this at 9 inches and we're going to see what we got here. Guys, let me just tell you. I do not know, and neither does anyone else, and if you think you do, you're wrong. No one can know what's inside the log, okay? I could go down there with a cut and hit a railroad spike for all I know. But here's what I do know. I know geometry, and I know how to get shapes out of this log just by knowing geometry, okay? So basically what I've done is I've taken two circles, the big circle at one end and a smaller circle at the other end, and I've taken and joined the two of them to use the maximum amount of wood from the small and the big end. That's all I'm doing. Okay? That's what allows me to get the cant that I want out of here. If I would have just started at the small end, not adjusted height, not looked at it carefully, and made a cut, I would probably be down to about a 6-inch cant by now. But I've still got some room, wiggle room for my 9-inch cant. So I don't know, and I'm not good at knowing what's inside the tree, but I am good in geometry, and that's why I'm getting these logs to come out so well, just so you know. Just measuring to see what I got here. Okay, so I can probably cut, and I'm going to go with that 9-inch cant. Wowee guys, you got some nice ones here. Tell you what, this board's facing up. Without having a guide here to guide me a little bit, I would definitely say you're looking at a piece of select wood, if not finish or select. All red knots, one black knot in here, one black knot, two black knots, less than an inch. You got some nice wood here. A little bit of wane for the crookedness that this log had in it. I would have never expected, you know, just slabbing to come up with such a nice cant. So we've got a little bit of wane on one board. You can see it'll be gone in the first 1-inch cut. Same thing on this side, a little bit of wane, about 3 foot long. Not bad, not bad at all. We could easily trim that out of there with one more board. But before I do that, I want to, and I can cut this off here, this piece that comes up, I could cut this off right here and still have a nice length of wood here. I gotta check the length. I think it's 12 foot. I'm not positive of this. I'm not going to get 12 out of here. 12 is right here. I got this nasty bump here. So I can go with 11 footers if I want, but I'll trim that off. Hell, if I trim it off now, I don't have to pretend to all of it on the side. A little bit of wane on the bottom right there. Not much. Not going to hurt. I think I'm going to trim this off at 11 foot 6. That block for something, but for right now I'm going to go get the chainsaw and I'm going to trim that log off where I have the tape. Okay guys, so here's what I ended up with here now. I've got a nice cant with a little bit of wane on the top there, but here's the good part. This is 10 inches wide. This is 9 and the thickness of a blade wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 inch off of this. That'll leave me with 8 inches. I'm going to roll it over and that's where I'm going to cut siding. I'll have an 8-inch cant. That's what I want, an 8-inch cant to cut siding out of. So 1 inch off of the top of this, we'll get rid of the 2 pieces of wane. The first cut of siding will have a little wane on it here. For the first cut, the first cut will have some wane on it. And then that should do it. Once we take this inch off, we should have a really nice log there then. So cant I mean. Let me cut this up, see what we got. 1 inch we're taking off of this. This 1x10 has wane on both sides. You see that? Easily make a beautiful 1x8 out of this. I'll trim that later. Guys, it takes time to walk around the saw to move this over, but you're better off doing that. Because I'm going to want these boards. So rather than just throwing them and have them crack, handle them easier. Okay, so let's just check ourselves here. Don't get better than this. What I'd like you to do is go, I'm not looking for views, okay, so don't think that, but what I'd like you to do, go back to the beginning of the video and remember what you looked at when you first saw the log in the can, and now look at this. This is what can be done when you're not in a great big rush to get things finished, but you're in a rush to come up with some quality looking wood. This is it. So in my next video then, I'm going to be cutting siding out of this. I think I'm pooped. Guys, thanks for watching. Guys, the last thing I want to add to this is, look at the sap coming out of there. I hope you can see that. And this was just cut done the other day. Temperature was like 20, or no, it was 15 at night. The night I cut this down, probably about 20 in the morning. So there's a lot of sap in this tree yet. But tell you what, that was the worst log from the tree. If that's the worst log, man, I'm gonna be dreaming about this other log. You know what, Bullseye? You got a lot of viewers. They need to see you every day. Hey, look in the camera. That's a boy. Yeah. You want to go out, don't you? You like going out. You want to go bye-bye? Yeah. Okay, I'll take you.